So the answer also is implied in the statement of Sri Ramakrishna. First of all, you should know that all suffering in this world is, broadly speaking, because of ignorance. This ignorance is one's sense of ego. So ego, that is the root cause of all the troubles we are facing in the world. So when a man is free from this egoism, then only he becomes qualified to get the grace of God, by the help of which ignorance is removed. We have to get God's grace. That's true. Then what's to be done? Next question. It won't come by itself unless you are ready to receive the grace of God. If you are not receiving, if you are careless and easygoing, a kind of haphazard life, you will not get God's grace. So it follows that you will have to get yourself trained in a systematic way. No use of complaining or worrying, just keep on doing it. That's the way. So, Sri Ramakrishna suggests, surrender your life. Offer it to God. Of course, spirituality depends upon your faith, your belief in the existence of God. If you don't have that initial faith that God is present everywhere, unless you have this notion firmly in your heart, you won't get faith. If you don't get faith, then ego overpowers you. You become too important to yourself and destroy yourself thereby. So, how to get into the faith, how to believe the presence of God. For that, Sri Ramakrishna suggests to be with holy association, but constantly coming in contact with men of wisdom, with people who are living the spirituality, by constantly coming in contact with them, certainly you will develop faith in the existence of God. So, you have to surrender your life, you have to surrender your mind, you have to surrender your intellect. Surrendering is the only way to crush your ego. Otherwise you always think you are always very important and you always feel too much of yourself. So offer everything at the blessed feet of the Lord of all. Have that attitude inside your mind. Renouncing everything that you call your own. Always cherish the idea, nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to Him. Whomsoever you are worshipping, in whatsoever form. Your chosen ideal is your everything. You have yourself given up to Him, to the Lord. That feeling must be very prominent in your day-to-day activities. Then that faith becomes strengthened and you will have experiences proving the efficacy of your faith. Such a person is blessed indeed. Such a person alone becomes really happy in the real sense of the term. Of himself one can accomplish nothing. Only one thing one can do. Pray to God and pray unceasingly. That's the way to forget the ego altogether. You must continually remember that God alone is real and that God alone is the truth. Then only can you be freed from ignorance. The veil of ignorance is lifted only by the divine grace. Once the veil of ignorance is lifted, you will have the direct vision of God. Then you will be in samadhi. Swami Premanandaji, one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, said, what is the root of ignorance? What is the root of delusion? It is the sense of little, me and mine. Give up this attachment to the little self. This world belongs to you, O Lord. You are the master. I am only one of your servants. This attitude will help you to get the grace of God. Your life becomes fruitful only if you struggle to break out this net of ignorance. Little struggle is required. Swami Adbhutanandaji, another disciple, said, "What is ignorance?" Every Mahatma has described it in a wonderful way. Adbhutanandaji, another great soul, direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. According to him, selfishness itself is ignorance. Because of selfishness, you tend to become more and more evil. So ignorance is the root of all evil because of selfishness. Ignorance means absence of the knowledge of the self, because you are not aware of the true nature of your own glorious self. You are unnecessarily suffering. Ignorance or Maya may also mean false knowledge. False knowledge. That's why Maya and ignorance mean the same thing. Another disciple, Ramakrishna, he said about ignorance, so long as you are clinging to your ignorance and desires, God will not come to free you. The way is that you should turn all your desires to Him, then He will come. When He comes, selfishness and ignorance go away without any trace. But then we must not pretend to be free from desire. The feeling must be absolutely sincere. There should not be any fraud. The whole game we see in this world is being performed on account of this most powerful ignorance. It is because of ignorance one tries to justify one's views with numerous intellectual arguments, and the result is philosophizing. All these things will go away once he is blessed with the true insight. Indeed, it is this ego born of ignorance that binds your vision. God's glory is manifest all around us, but still we don't see Him. The reason being that we are reluctant to cast off the veil of ignorance that covers our vision. So that is about ignorance, what Sri Ramakrishna told. The next point he said, pleasure and pain are inevitable in the life of the world. When you know the fact, you won't get disturbed. If you think you are the only person getting the pain, then you may be horrified to know. It is not like that. It is everywhere. Pleasure and pain, they go hand in hand. One suffers now and then from a little worry and trouble. Sri Ramakrishna explains it by giving an example. A man living in a room full of soot cannot avoid being a little stained. Then the devotee asked what he should do now. Sri Ramakrishna instructed him, well, chant the name of Hari morning and evening, clapping your hands. Get yourself absorbed in the repetition of the divine name. Sri Ramakrishna himself was doing that even after his realization of the Parabrahman, even after his Nirvikalpa Samadhi, even after Totapuri initiated him into the formless aspect of Brahman, he never stopped singing the glories of the Divine Mother. In fact, his ecstatic joy increased after Totapuri's advent. To him, there is no difference between Divine Mother and Parabrahman. They are one and the same in letter and spirit. What is Brahman is Divine Mother. What is Divine Mother is verily Brahman. So you don't have to negate. What you call Brahman, I am calling as Divine Mother. To experience the joy of Brahman, I am adoring Divine Mother. So Brahman's glory is understood through his power. That is Divine Mother. So he suggests very easy method to get over this disease of worldliness. Just keep on repeating the divine name. It has got tremendous power. Every Mahatman who has advanced in the spiritual life has said the same thing. What to speak of men of realization. Whomsoever you call him a Mahatma, you must know he will be always repeating mentally the divine name. If he is a worshipper of the formless aspect of Brahman, he will be repeating Mahavakyas of the Upanishads, Aham Brahmasmi, etc. Sohamasmi, Tattvamasi, Ayamatma Brahma. All these famous statements of the Upanishads. He keeps on meditating upon them. Though outwardly he may be engaged in activities, his mind is always in tune with the Paramatman. Lord Krishna, who taught famous yogas in the Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Sharanagati Yoga, Buddhi Yoga, so many yogas. He says in the Gita, in the chapter 10, verse number 25, Yajnanam japa yajñosmi. Fantastic statement. You don't have to have any disbelief with regards to doing japa. Be more inspired. In fact, japa gives you quick result than anything else. It depends upon how you do it. Lord Krishna says, of all the yajñas, I am japa yajña. So much of importance is given to yajna. You give your mind itself as ahuti in the yajna, then you will see wonder of wonders. Bringing the chosen ideal in front of you is the work of japa. It is the responsibility of the japa. It will take care of. You need not have to worry, oh, I did not see, I didn't have the vision. No, don't worry. That only shows you are not doing japa properly. Your job is only to do the japa. It is the responsibility of the japa to bring God to you. How does it do? It has got its own method. What does japa do? It purifies the heart, removes all the dirt from yourself, makes it clean so that God can be revealed there. That's the glory of japa. There's a Sanskrit verse, afterwards I will tell you the English meaning. Puja koti samaha stotram. Puja koti samastotram. Stotra koti samam japaha. Chanting of a hymn, stotra, is equivalent to worshipping God million times. I am translating crore as million. Anyway, just to give an idea, and repetition of the divine name is equivalent to million chanting of hymns. So you can understand now the significance of japa, repetition of the divine name. It is immediately activized. Once you started doing japa, it starts working. It is just like pressing the button, electric switch on, immediately the current comes. Immediately, as soon as you press the button, the current is there. Just so, when you start repeating the mantra, it starts working in its own mysterious way. What does it do? All the accumulated sins will be washed away. By japa, paving the way for the realization of God. So, what the holy people say is that divine name has the potency to stamp and mold the consciousness which repeats it into the nature of the divinity for which the name stands, and prepare it for the reception of the gathering revelation of the Godhead. These divine names have got special significance. Each divine name is considered a mantra which has got the power to destroy your ignorance totally. The rishis, the sages who did austerities in the forests in secluded life, leading a secluded life, they perceived the sound bodies of the devatas, deities, in their spiritual vision and audience, and they instituted them as mantras, as terms of call to the respective deities. When a mantra is uttered effectively, what does it do? It sets in motion vibrations that evoke the corresponding deity into the atmosphere where it is uttered. This is the principle underlying the mantra and japa yoga. Sound has a form. There is a chaitanya, a consciousness in each mantra, and that should be awakened. Everything needs medium to express itself. God expresses himself through the mantra. So we get revelation through the mantra. When the Guru gives the mantra, what does he do? Because the disciple may not be aware of that. The Guru offers his worship to God, prays to him for the disciple. He energizes the mantra by his spiritual power, sets its life into motion and delivers it into the being of the disciple. So when the mantra is given to the disciple, At that point of time, it is charged with the power, and that power has been transmitted to the disciple by the Guru. He is sharing his own spiritual power with the disciple. In a way, it's a great sacrifice. It is then the recipient thereafter. He should tend and nourish the life of the mantra so received, to let it instill itself into the core of his being, spread all through his consciousness. And this is done by faith. This is done by devotion. This is done by assiduous and loving repetition. When you are repeating the mantra, always be conscious of what you are repeating. Suppose you are repeating 10 times, all the 10 times be very attentive. Every time you repeat the mantra, every time give your whole attention to what you are repeating. That is the way to awaken the mantra. That means he should learn to cherish and love the mantra for itself and not as a means or process to an end. So adored, the mantra becomes one with him and begins to repeat itself spontaneously without any effort on his part. Then on, one has only to listen to this ringing of the mantra till in the fullness of time it reveals itself as none other than the very divinity that is being invoked. This is the course of a successful japa sadhana. In this japa sadhana, you don't have to spend any money. So, money should not bother you. Oh, to do japsa, what can I do? I have to spend $100. I have no money. I have to go for a job. Don't give that reason. Japa doesn't want your money. It wants your mind only, not your other things. So, first of all, you must decide whether you are really willing to get over the ignorance or just you want to philosophize whatever you are living in whatever fashion. I already told, philosophizing will not help you. If you want to solve the problem of suffering, you must be dhira. You must be courageous to practice the sadhana. Never be afraid of anything. Never get disturbed whatever that might happen. Make the mind strong. Be firmly devoted. Whole spirituality depends upon your loving faith and devotion to God. If that is there, surely you will get the vision of God. There is no doubt about it. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna has said. Peace be unto all. Sri Ramakrishna has been giving various spiritual instructions to the devotees who come there. And Sri Ramakrishna knows them, and he was very much concerned about the people who visit him. He was anxious to know about their spiritual development. So he would give instructions that would apply to all the devotees who had gathered there. And sometimes he would notice that some close devotees had not been coming for a long time. And whenever they showed up, Sri Ramakrishna immediately would inquire why he was not to be seen so long. Of course, Sri Ramakrishna knew everything about everybody, but still he would ask the question so that the devotee might answer what he wanted to say. So, one such devotee had come after a long time. Very close devotee, very good devotee. His name was Adhar Sen. So he came and offered his salutations. Sri Ramakrishna asked him why he didn't come all these days. So when Sri Ramakrishna asked, he really meant, he was really serious about his question. As I said earlier, he was very much concerned about the welfare of the devotees. So he asked him why he didn't come all these days. Adhar replied, well, sir, I have been so busy all the time. I had to attend so many things, various meetings and conferences, so on and so forth. As you all give the same list, big list you give why you had not been able to come. So he is representing all of you who give reasons that way. So he is telling, I had to attend to so many meetings, etc. So it made me impossible to come. Then Sri Ramakrishna gave him an instruction. Don't get lost yourself in such meetings and forget everything else. Look here, all these things which you are doing, the activities which you are performing, attending meetings and so on and so forth, All these are unreal. God alone is the substance, and all else, everything other than that is just illusory. He pinpointed and he corrected him. Why he is getting lost in that unreality. It should be the other way. Holding on to God, trying to come closer to God means coming closer to reality. That is important. Otherwise, life would be a waste. So further, Sri Ramakrishna said, one should worship God with one's whole mind. So fine instruction Sri Ramakrishna has given in this way. When you worship God, put your whole mind in it. While doing worship, don't keep on turning the left side, right side, back side. Who is sitting behind me? Who is sitting in front of me? Who has come? Who has entered? Who has gone out? Huh? That means instead of mind being gathered at one point, it is being scattered at different directions. That's not the way. When you sit, be conscious you are sitting, giving your direct attention, full attention to God. It is a direct service to God. You are fully aware of what you are doing. That's the way it should be done. Then you will enjoy the wonderful benefit of worship. Gita and other scriptures emphasize the ideal of worship and meditation in the midst of the activities of life. Do that, you will not be lost in the world. You won't feel helpless in the world. You feel always joyful amidst your activities on account of your doing worship wholeheartedly. Work and worship. It is the surest way to spiritual progress. Work acts as means to the end. Work should purify the heart, and that should enable you to come closer to Him. There are 4 distinct methods of worship. These are all tested methods. Just keep on doing in the way in which it is instructed, you will get the benefit. These are all result-oriented methods. You are all very conscious of results, Do it properly, you will get the result. If you don't do it properly, you won't get result. There is no in-between. Either you get the result or you won't get. If you don't get the result, it means you are not doing properly. Then you should do it. Knowing it correctly and doing it. That's the important point. That's the meaning when Sri Ramakrishna said, worship God, putting whole mind into it. What are the four distinct methods? One is common ritualistic worship of God in an image or a symbol, so that you can concentrate all your attention on that particular image or symbol and offer your worship. You want to have direct relationship with the object of worship, so you are fixing it in front of you, so that you are not deviated from the performance. It is a method. It gives wonderful results. Second one, worship of God with prayer and japam. Just prayer and japam is also another form of worship higher than what is mentioned just now. That is higher than the ritualistic worship, offering your prayers and doing japam. Again, wholeheartedly. Whole mind should be there. I told you already, if the mind is not there, you won't get the result, even though you are doing japa. By this means, the aspirant prays and chants and meditates upon the shining form of his chosen ideal, where within his own heart. That's why when we say do prayers and japa, we always say close your eyes and do it. When you close your eyes, what happens? Now you are opening your eyes, so eyes are looking outside. When you close your eyes, the eyes look inside. Look inside. That's the meaning. Look inside. And approach God. Whatever form of God you want to serve, have him in front of you, in front of your heart. Look into him. with all humbleness and pray, chant, meditate on Him, as if nothing else is existing, only God and you. With that intensity, you have to practice. There is still higher meditation. Higher than this prayer and japa is meditation, dhyana. The first one is ritualistic worship. Higher than that is prayers and japam. Higher still is meditation. Meditation. When a person practices this form of worship, he keeps a constant flow of thought towards God and becomes absorbed in the living presence of his chosen ideal. In this method of worship, he goes beyond rituals, beyond prayer and japam, but the sense of duality remains. That is, yourself a devotee and your chosen ideal an object. Two persons are there. One is performer and the other who is receiving worship. There is still higher than this form of worship. What is higher than meditation? The highest method of worship is meditation on the unity of Atma, the spirit, unity of the Atman and Brahman. This is the highest. This leads directly and immediately to God. The aspirant experiences Brahman, he knows that God is. It is an actual realization of the omnipresent reality. So these are the four tested, approved methods of worship. Which give results when performed properly. As Sri Ramakrishna pointed out, give the whole mind when you are doing worship. It's important that one should begin from where he is. Suppose there is an ordinary average person. If he is told to meditate on his union with the absolute Brahman, he will not understand what this Swami is talking about. I can't understand. He will neither grasp the truth of it nor be able to follow the instructions. For a while he may try, but sooner or later he will become tired of the struggle and give it up. because it's not so easy and it is not meant for the beginners in spiritual life. It is meant for advanced spiritual seekers. But if that man is asked to worship God with flowers, incense stick and other accessories of the ritualistic worship, he finds them very easy and his mind will gradually become concentrated on God and he finds joy in his worship. One day, one person was telling, one devotee was telling that, Swamiji, I feel great joy when I do worship. A kind of inward peace I feel after I finish my worship. I told him it's very good. That's a very good sign. Suppose for some reason if he is not able to do worship, he feels discomfort. He is not happy the whole day. So, every step has got its importance. Through such worship, devotion to the performance of japam grows. So when you do ritual form of worship, then your mind aspires to repeat divine name. The finer the mind becomes, the greater is its capacity for the higher forms of worship. When the mind inclines to do japam, then in course of time the mind inclines towards meditation. Thus the aspirant gradually and naturally moves towards his own ideal. So, worship, what we call in Sanskrit puja, it means both external ritualistic worship and mental worship, manasik puja, bahir puja, external worship, manasik puja, mental worship. In the ritualistic worship, certain accessories are necessary. These are sometimes very difficult to procure. So without having proper accessories, the external worship is not successful. If you don't have proper things to offer worship, it amounts to not doing in a proper way. If you want the worship to be accepted by God, be careful to have all accessories and then do it. That's the meaning. Somebody wanted me to do puja. When I went there, what type of puja they want? They don't have flowers. Even if they had hardly about 5-10 flowers are there. See, you are expected to, suppose you want to do a thing, do it correctly. Don't do it in a half-hearted way. Once or twice I told, these are the things to be kept. After saying, I didn't want to tell anything more. If they say, offer puja, all right, I will come. Whatever is there, I will do it, and of course I will offer mentally. I will pray for them. So, compared to the ritualistic worship where so many things are required, mental worship is more convenient. And it is superior too, because you are involving the mind in the worship. Mind itself is made to worship. You are witnessing the mind to offer worship of God. That's remarkable, if you do it properly. So, the way of doing worship mentally also is same as you do outside. Have the chosen idol in front of your mind. As I said, close your eyes and have your deity in front of you. Offer with all love and devotion, flowers, incense sticks, and then practice meditation and do japam. Everything to be done mentally. Don't move your lips at all. In that process, you are able to practice total concentration. You are able to practice how to put whole mind in the act of worship. So in purely mental japam, the mantram is repeated without moving the lips. But in ordinary japam, the mantram is repeated silently with the movement of the lips. Of course, as long as we are in this world, we will have to work. Nobody tells, don't work and sit quietly, somebody will feed you. Nobody will feed you. You have to earn your bread. You have to work. There is no conflict between work and worship. But what we say is, try to harmonize them. Try to harmonize work and worship. Both are important, both must be done. Don't forget that point. At first it may seem difficult, but try again and again. Struggle. Struggle. Through struggling only spirituality develops. Sri Ramakrishna said, the newborn calf, what does it do? It tries to stand up and it falls down many times. I have seen that in India. When the newborn calf, how it, as soon as it comes out of the mother's womb, within a few seconds, it tries to stand up and it keeps on struggling. It falls down, but it never gives up. Finally, after repeated efforts, it is not only able to stand, but it learns to run also. The calf. Swami Brahmanandaji, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, his book, Eternal Companion, Spiritual Teachings, remarkable. You have got all these instructions there, clearly explained. Spend your time in worship of God, in service to holy persons, and in contemplation. This is the way to mold your character, which is essential for spiritual progress. Without any preparation, how can you have the vision of God? So it's very important. What is Karma Yoga? I told just now, you must know the technique of harmonizing both work as well as worship. First of all, you must know what is Karma Yoga. No matter how insignificant the work may be, but throw yourself wholeheartedly into the task, then work becomes worship of God. What we see ordinarily in the world is that everyone wants to do the work he best likes to do. Everyone wants to do the work he best likes to do. But that is not the secret of work. What is the secret of work? Whatever work you do, whether you like it or not, very important. Know that it is the Lord's work and adjust yourself accordingly. Adjust yourself accordingly. Then only you are practicing Karma Yoga. Otherwise you are unfit, you are disqualified, you are rejected totally. You are thrown overboard. That's important. If you understand Karma Yoga in this way, then only you will be able to harmonize work and worship. Otherwise you become egoistic, develop all sorts of inhibitions and become nuisance to your people around and to the society and to the country. You must always remember, always, whatever the work you are doing, it is done as the worship of God. That attitude, that concept must be properly infused in your heart. Whatever you are doing, immediately the thought of God should come there. I am doing for the love of God. Swami Brahmananda used to say, Give 3 parts of your mind to God and apply the rest to your work. If you can do that, your work will indeed be worship. And what is the result? The result is your heart will be filled with joy. That's all. Now, see, when you come to Sri Ramakrishna, you must always remember you are coming to live a practical life of spiritual ideas, not simply theorizing. So, every point has got supreme importance. It is very important, very useful for us. So, the spiritual masters, they say, well, do it systematically. If you want to do it properly. Do it properly. You must underline that. Every day you must see that. Am I doing properly? Whatever you do, suppose you sit for japa, suppose you sit for meditation, suppose you sit for worship, suppose you are doing some work. Are you doing properly? Judge yourself first. Look into yourself. So they say, set apart a place. Set apart a place for your daily worship. Go there every morning, every evening. Without fail, you must go to that place of worship. It's a discipline. Even if you want to die, go and die there. Oh, I'm exhausted. Don't give any reason. Go and fall in the worship room. That's it. That kind of strong determination should be there. Then only you will make progress in spiritual life. Otherwise, simply talking, and one day just you disappear from this world. Finished. We don't know what will happen next, whether you will be born as a human being or as an animal. Who knows? So, set apart a place for your daily worship. Go there every day morning, every day evening. Perform your worship consciously. Perform japa, perform meditation, perform prayers. You must do these things regularly, not weekends. Even weekends also they won't do regularly. They simply talk just to give an excuse. But how long you cheat yourself that way? So, offer your japa meditation prayers regularly as long as you can. If you are sincere in your worship of God, Swami Brahmananda assures, you will be blessed with his vision. Although in the beginning you worship an image of God, if it is worshipped with love and devotion, the Lord is pleased and accepts the worship through that image. What is made of inert clay becomes conscious and living. What is important, what is the essence of everything, it is devotion. Wherever there is devotion, know for certain that the grace of the Lord is there. If there is no devotion, if there is haughtiness, Lord is not there. Beast is there, beast. External worship is just means to an end. God is in the images in a special sense. When one makes sufficient progress Godward, one will see God is there and accepts your offerings of food. How? Through the rays of light coming forth from the image, they touch the food and go back. That's the meaning of offering. And Sri Ramakrishna has seen that happening when the things were kept in front of Divine Mother Kali for offering. The rays of light would come from the image and touch the offering and go back. Holy Mother Sharda Devi has seen that. Many direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna have seen that. And they are telling this. Not simply people who do not do any practice, simply talking. Talking, you can talk in any manner, you know. No, it is not like that. They have seen. That's what I am telling you. From the beginning to the end, whatever I am telling you, it's all tested. So, a true devotee takes God's names with every breath. It is filled with sincere devotion. And he offers flowers, he offers leaves, water to God without any selfish motive. He prays, O Mother Divine, O Mother, I am offering this worship. Worship and prayer are nothing but opportune moments to call on you. They are just providing me an occasion to remember you. Another important point which you should remember, as long as there is individuality, there must be the personal God. God, the Creator, is always personal. And each manifestation of Him is as real as Himself. Worship is possible only in reference to the personal God. So, the sum total of all what I said now is worship God with whole mind. With these words I conclude my talk. Let us pray to Him to remove all our ignorance, to remove all obstructions in our way to perfection. Sri Ramakrishna always gives instructions, guidelines for the devotees to practice them in their daily life. He gave the teachings in order to practice them. That means you have to practice. That responsibility is on you. Giving is one thing. I give the food to you. Eating and assimilating is yours. So, though the very good food is given, if your system doesn't assimilate, even though the food is good, you don't have the real benefit of it. That's a very important point which we should remember. Spirituality is intense practical life. So, you must be practically oriented to spiritual ideas. Then you have got right to expect the result. Without practicing, we should not complain in spite of my coming to the temple so long, in spite of attending so many prayers, I am still same way, not finding any improvement, no peace of mind. How to see God? So these things will remain as long as you are not practicing them. First of all, you should know in a clear way the teachings to be practiced one by one. You must note down very specifically. As I told earlier, it's a practically oriented spirituality. If you are very much conscious of the result, be conscious of your practical life. Then you will see the wonders. It may be easy, it may be difficult, depending upon your system. If the system is weak, make the system strong, increase your digestive power, then have the benefit of good food. Once a man asked Chaitanya, Swami, Chaitanya is one of the great incarnations. You give the devotees so much instruction. Why don't they make much progress? See, he is asking the same question which we usually want to ask. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered in a serious way. Do you want to know the reason? They dissipate their powers in the company of opposite sex. That's why they cannot assimilate spiritual instruction. Sri Ramakrishna is telling these words to the devotee. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said like this, and he made a remark. Sri Ramakrishna said, without chastity, one cannot assimilate the teachings. Golden truth. So you don't have to ask anybody any question. The answer is in yourself. If one keeps water in a leaky jar, what happens? Water escapes little by little through the leak. Swami Chidananda, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, referring to chastity, he said, it is a bedrock of spirituality. Why they stress so much about chastity? Because if you want to make the mind steady and stable, that is required. Otherwise, what happens? Every now and then mind wobbles. Always shaky, terribly shaky, not ordinary shaky, terribly shaky. That's why you always pass through terrible sufferings of depression because of the instability, because of the terrible weakness of the mind. So, that's why all the teachers all over the world stress about this point, maintaining chastity. Then I will say, you can't realize God, my dear friend. I should answer that. Though I may not answer that way, it means that. Golden truth, I have already told you. Keep it safe. Meditate on this. Don't simply talk of, I want this, I want that, why God is not kind, why God is this, that. It makes me not to believe in God, all sorts of complaints and so many gestures, postures. You can't shake the unshakable God. By that process, you are shaking yourself. So what I mean to say, correct the system. No use of weeping and crying and sitting idiot like a stupid person. Act upon immediately. You are so active to do all dirty things of the world. Can you not act in a proper way to strengthen your mind? Why not? Because there is no determination. Somebody should come and pull you. It won't help you, as I said. Unless one is chaste, the mind is never steady. Make sure of it. The best element in our body is preserved by chastity. If there is no chastity, the mind stuff, what we call chitta, becomes extremely unsteady. So what? Then the image of the deity is no more clearly reflected in it. If you want to see God, you have to see God in your mind. That means the mind should be steady, kept neat and clean, transparent, free from all impurities, pollutions. Then you can see the clear image of the deity whom you are worshipping. So, we must give first priority must be given to the practice of chastity. Even though you may be a householder, don't put that label and always keep on telling, I am the householder. What's the use of telling like that again and again? It's done. Think further now. Think further. It's not that you must die like a householder unto death. You must not live like that. All right, I was a householder. From now on, I will try to maintain the chastity hereafter. I have had enough of this world, nothing more. You must have that determination. No point in telling this America, this Germany, like that. Whether it is America, Germany, whatever, even in India. If you don't practice chastity, you won't get God. Finished. Of course, these instructions are given to persons who really seek, who really want to see God, to know God, to realize the truth. So by practicing